everybody? So new review today. We're talking about the upcoming I Know What You Did Last Summer series on Amazon Prime Video. As a horror fan, we are eating really good right now when it comes to content. Halloween Kills, the Scream 5 trailer, Chucky's back, and also I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is also a series now instead of a film. Other than Scream, 1997's I Know What You Did Last Summer probably is my favorite slasher to come out of the genre in that era. And since it has been about 25 years since the first I Know What You Did Last Summer, it seems like something that's actually ripe for a new interpretation. This time around though, we're getting a new interpretation from executive producer James Wan. The locations and characters in this version are different, but the premise is pretty much the exact same. A group of teens are stalked by a mysterious killer 1 year after a fatal accident that they kept secret from everyone. I do want to give a quick disclaimer that everything that I discuss in this review is centered around the first 4 episodes of the show. Those are the episodes that were supplied to me by Amazon. I can't talk about the rest of the season because I haven't seen it yet, but the first 4 episodes are the episodes that you're going to get when it debuts on Amazon Prime tomorrow, so those are the episodes that we're talking about right now. But what a big surprise this show ended up being. It's not a perfect show by any means, but I do think it does a good enough job repackaging the overall premise. Most people going into the series have a basic general idea of what the plot is, especially if you're a fan of the original, but there are a lot more layers to these characters this time around, and their connections to this person's mysterious death, and their connections to that person add a lot more emotional weight and depth to the circumstances that are swirling around them throughout the series. Those kind of things are a big benefit when you have 8 episodes of a television series to explore all of that stuff compared to just one singular film. Because in these first 4 episodes of the show, they've been able to develop really interesting, complex characters while also still being able to build a compelling mystery that's been able to keep me on my toes as characters are picked off one by one each and every episode. We're kind of going through 2 storylines at the exact same time. We have the present day storyline where they're getting stalked by a mysterious killer as they get picked off. We're also piecing together the mystery of the night the incident occurred as we get various different characters' point of views in every episode, with events kind of filling in the gaps. So it doubles as interesting storytelling, but also kind of makes you kind of wonder who is the person that's killing everybody in the series. Now, there was absolutely no way you could top the cast of the 97 film: Jennifer Love Hewitt, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., and Ryan Phillippe, but I do think the people they have in this new version are at least solid for the most part. Most credit in this new version has to go to Madison Iseman, who's actually pulling double duty in this show, portraying 2 different characters, which I will admit gets kind of confusing as the show goes on, trying to figure out which one is Lennon and which one is Allison. And I do think that she pulls it off. She really is the main driving force performance-wise, and out of the group is the easiest to latch onto since she's the one that's most affected by what's happening after last summer's events. But every single one of the other characters in the cast has something about them that makes them really interesting. I think my personal favorites are Riley and Margot. Some of these characters do have the tropes and characteristics that you expect from the slasher genre kind of archetype, but they're still likable characters in my opinion. As far as things I wasn't a really big fan of when it comes to this series, there are some storylines and plot threads that really aren't that interesting. It's one of those double-edged sword things when it comes to having a show compared to a movie, because a movie you don't really have as much time to waste on all this other side stuff, but in a show you do have filler a lot of the time, and some of these things do feel like filler. Like any of the stuff that involves the cops in the town, or the stuff with Lennon and Allison's weird hot dad. A lot of that stuff I feel like you could very easily cut out of the show and it would be perfectly fine. When it comes to talking about a slasher in the horror genre, one of the big things you're going to be wondering about is the kills, the gore, the blood, all that stuff. I will say that some of that is positive and some of that is negative. I'm kind of in the middle about it, at least for right now, as we're halfway through the season. Because on one hand, they definitely do not skimp when it comes to showing the blood, guts, and gore. The show is pretty brutal when we do get to see the aftermath of the kills, but we really don't get to see a lot of the actual kills happen in the show. A lot of the time you just see the aftermath of what the killer did, so we really are kind of waiting to see a lot more of the killer himself or herself in the show, because I think at this point in time we've only seen them on screen once. And at least for right now, it didn't look like we're going with the Ben Willis look with the fisherman's outfit and the hook. It didn't look like we're going with that at all, so that is kind of a bummer, but is to be expected with this new interpretation. We are in the era of social media and smartphones, and that's incorporated into the show as well, and I really don't find it that scary. I don't think it's implemented all that well. I've just never been one to find threatening text messages in social media and all that stuff scary in my horror films, but that's just a personal preference. In this especially, it feels like we're kind of dating incorporated into the scripts when we have references to like OnlyFans, TikTok, Instagram. We even have a Trisha Paytas reference in one of the episodes. But all around, I think that the I Know What You Did Last Summer series on Amazon has done a great job planting the seeds for a very interesting murder mystery. Although I do wish I had the season all at once so I could just binge through it in a weekend. I do think it is kind of smart to have the week to week, at least for the last 4 episodes, because it is kind of fun and interesting that way. Because if it is a hit with a lot of audiences, especially in this time frame in the horror movie season, I think it could be a lot of fun trying to speculate with people who we think the killer is. I have some of my guesses who I think the killer is, but we'll have to share those in the comment section down below. But now that you've heard my thoughts on the I Know What You Did Last Summer series, as I said, it comes out on Amazon tomorrow, so you'll be able to watch the first 4 episodes tomorrow. Once you've seen all 4 episodes of the show, make sure you share your thoughts down below what you thought of the episodes. Did you like the episodes? Did you not like the episodes? Are you looking forward to episode 5 next week? Also, as I said, who do you think the killer is? I think that's going to be the most fun thing to actually speculate in the comment section down below, because there are a lot of different suspects here, and I think we're all going to have various different answers about who we think is behind it all. As always, though, thank you guys guys so much for checking my reviews, but I really appreciate it. Make sure to like the video and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you're updated with my movie reactions, unboxings, and more on the channel. Until next time, I'll see you guys later.